look at the impact of that on today's young people. Because those 10-year-old kids are out there right now looking around going, this is it. This year we have one family, trade that one in, get another one, trade that one in, get another one. Those kids are going to think that's normal. These people don't like it worth a damn. If you go to Denver, Colorado, and talk to a retired executive from the Coors Brewery, they produce a product that comes in a can that some of you may be vaguely familiar with. If you talk to that guy who's now 67, worked his entire life for the Coors Brewing Company, he will tell you, especially will he tell you after he's had a couple of his beers, he doesn't understand the young people at Coors Brewery. He couldn't communicate, he couldn't motivate, he gets so mad he foams at the mouth. He would like to kill the bastards. He just comes unglued talking about the young people that worked at Coors Brewery. He tells a story that to him summed it all up. There was a breakdown on their production line. A filter went out. Everyone started frantically working, from the executive himself all the way down to the youngest employee. They worked on through the day. It got to be late in the afternoon, and all of a sudden these people went, well, it's 4:30. That's the end of our shift. See you guys tomorrow. And these people went, wait a minute. What the hell is wrong with you? Get back in here. We got to fix this thing. Answer, our contract calls for us to work X amount of hours. We've done that. See you tomorrow. And they left. And these people stayed and fixed it about midnight. And these people came back the next day and thought that was really nifty, but they damn well weren't going to stay around to do it. Sense of responsibility, sense of commitment, employer-employee relationships are vastly different values in today's work world. But this guy is right. This guy is normal. As he views the world, damns the world, condemns the world, these people are filtering the world with their normal gut-level value systems. They're okay, but different from these people. 40 and 50-year-olds, that's a fun group to look at. If you don't want to look at them directly, watch them in the media. They've just torn them to shreds over the past few years. Watch them, for example, in movies, a classic, The Graduate. If you didn't see it, you ought to catch it on videotape, rerun, replay somewhere. It showed beautifully the values of these people versus the values of these people. If you didn't see that movie, I bet you remember the song, Hey, hey, Mrs. Robinson. Mrs. Robinson was but a representative of her generation. In that movie, she was materialistic as hell. She loved to buy things, clothes, furs, jewels, cars, trips, boats, buy. Remember, when Mrs. Robinson's generation value program, they didn't have things. They grew up without. All that crap out there in today's world, all the excitement, all the pizzazz, all that interesting stuff, all the transportation, all the amusements, none of that existed on a massive basis when these people were value programming. And what we grow up without is what becomes critical for us. What we grow up with, we accept, reject, take for granted, don't pay any attention to. She value programmed without the material things. In the movie, she was sexually frustrated. When she was value programming about sex, people said, don't even think about it, much less do it. She tried not to, but she worried like hell the whole time. And now she's determined to get as much mileage as she possibly can before it's too late. Sexually frustrated, materialistic, she is but a stereotype representative of perhaps the worst values of her generation, and she is absolutely 100% normal. Her behavior right now is directly rooted in her value programming period. She is normal, but different from these people and different from these people. People in their 20s. You know, if you can bring yourself to do it, you really ought to try to talk to a 20-year-old. You should. They are absolutely fascinating. I have to do it all the time, and I'd like to pop about 98% of little bastards right in the mouth. They are so irritating, so confusing, so frustrating, and they, too, are totally 100% normal. They have grown up. That's the way they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And these people better get used to it, because they're going to have to deal with it. And you know what else? All these people up here are responsible for all these people down here. If we don't like what we see in our children, we have no one to blame except ourselves, because we did it. We programmed them. In our homes, in our schools, in our communities, through our media, we created these people. They are exactly the way they are because that's the way we programmed them to be. We're responsible. Look at these people. We don't like what we see. A number of these people, especially their mid-20s to early 30s, those people have looked like hell over the past few years. They've looked absolutely terrible. Hair, clothes, donking around. A bunch of them wore climbing boots, clomping around. They had trouble getting over curbs, and they still clomped around in those things. Why are they like that? Because they're normal. Look at people in their 20s. They were 10 years old, just really a very, very few years in the past. They are just the way they are today because of what they were growing up with. Look at the 1960s and 70s that programmed the young people. That time period was so yippy, skippy, Ajax, clean, color-coordinated, permanent pressed, orthodontically wired, Muzak sounded. It was so nifty. It'd make you puke if you really looked at it. It was horrible. The 1960s and 70s were boring beyond belief, predictable to the nth degree, computerized, dehumanized. The 1960s and 70s, it was the good life that these generations had worked like hell their entire lives to build. They sacrificed, they sweated through it, and after these people built it, these people went, and these people went, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't you appreciate what we're doing for you, huh? And these people still went, the good life is boring. You don't believe it? Test it. Test it as you travel, vacation, business, whatever. For the next few months, pick a hotel chain. Look at any of them. They're all, you know, basically about the same. Holiday Inn is good. They've spread like the plague around the earth. Hyatt House, you don't know where you are, just in a twinkling elevator running up and down. Marriott, they're all about the same. Those places look alike, smell alike, the food tastes alike. They're so boring and predictable. And these people rejected that. You know, as I travel, I continue to look for examples to see how that sameness of the good life is being reflected. A little over a year ago, I was in Chicago on a business trip. Stayed in a brand new 45-story hotel right in the heart of downtown Chicago. Just a beautiful, twinkling little structure, and the coffee shop was on the 4th floor. And it was one of those coffee shops that you order by catalog. Hey, send me number 22C. And the crates come in and all flop open and everything goes up. It's instant coffee shop. Okay, I go for breakfast one morning. I ride the escalators up 4 floors, open up the menu, and there was a big headline that said, fresh, home-baked biscuits. And I thought, you're shitting me. There are no fresh, home-baked biscuits on the 4th floor of a skyscraper in downtown Chicago. They don't have a little old lady back in the kitchen popping those babies out. Who do they think they're kidding? These people see through that. These people see the charade, the facade of the good life. These generations value programmed in a world where change became the norm, where they were financially supported. Here's $5, kid, but emotionally abandoned by their own parents. Financially supported, but emotionally abandoned. These people would begin to experience what would be called an identity crisis. Who am I? Where am I? Where am I going? Those were real questions, honest questions. These people didn't have an identity crisis. Back in the 1920s, nobody walked around going, hey, man, what's happening? Where's the dad? What's going on? Those people knew they damn well better get their butt in gear and get a job if they were going to survive. Why should these people work? Why should millions of these people work? We've given them everything. You're bored with that toy? We'll buy you another one. You broke your tricycle? We'll get it fixed. Give, give. Take, take. And they learned their lessons very well. But they did fight back. They clashed with the values of the adult world, and they chose some very interesting weapons. And this next example is one of my favorites because it shows how these people could respond to these people in terms of values and really upset them. It's really a very simple example. The example, hair. Men's hair. Think about hair. In the past few years, people have been fired from their jobs just because of the length of their hair. It's still going on. It continues to amaze me. It has been occurring since the 1960s, and it's still happening. Not too long ago, in Toronto, just across the border, one of the most progressive metropolitan areas in the entire world, there's a group of young men who were fired from their jobs because they work for the sewer department and sit in underground rooms monitoring the flow of material through the system. They are sitting there literally watching crap on TV, and their hair was too long for them to do their job. Isn't that unbelievable? Children have been kicked out of school just because of the length of their hair. It's still going on. Here we are in the 80s. Not long ago, 200 young men were expelled from school in a suburb of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Again, one of the most progressive areas in the world, supposedly. The school board in that area expelled those 200 young men because their hair was too long. It was interfering with their education. 200 people denied access to an education because they needed a haircut. But my favorite is still down in Houston, Texas. Right outside of Houston along the Gulf Freeway, the headquarters of NASA. We can reach the stars. And a community of Pasadena, Texas, where just a few years ago, the school board of Pasadena kicked a 6-year-old kid out of school because his hair touched his ears, and the school board of Pasadena said, the little son of a bitch is going to morally ruin the whole school. Isn't that dumb? Isn't that asinine? No, not in the value system of the School Board of Pasadena, Texas. That's the way they were programmed to relate to the world. That's the way they've always related to the world. That's the way they'll go relating to the world. And I know that's true because my parents still live in Texas. And just a few years ago, I swung through Waco on a quick trip. My hair was about 1.5 inches longer. I mean, it came down, flipped back. I loved it. I walked into our house. My mother turned and looked at me and said, "You hippie, get out of here." I said, "Mother, how many times do I have to tell you? I'm a professor, not a hippie." She said, "I know one when I see one. Now get it cut." Of course, she's on her way to Sun City. I mean, what does she know? Let's look at how we relate to hair, as we can look at how we relate to anything. If you go way back in time, men had long hair, beards, the whole thing. They didn't have good cutting equipment. It hurts like hell to shave it off. So they just